down here in the bottom position of Light Shade for game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Give it up for Alpha X's Ragnarok. And his opponent up here in the top. Give it up for Good Game Gaming's Patience. What's the tiebreaker for ranking? So basically, this was round robin. So if there is a tie in a tie in series win, then we go to map score. Currently, Dream is at the top here with a 2-1 victory and a 5-4 map score. So he is ranked first. Jotun is ranked second. Although, with that last... I don't know if that last match was on there yet. It was about half on there. So Jotun is now 3 and 5. So if Ragnarok wins this series, he's going to go up to 5 and 3. I think. I'm going to stop hurting my head a little bit here, just trying to figure all this out. I think there is still a chance to dethrone Dream, but it's going to be very difficult to do so in this series. He's going to have to win via a 2-0, I feel, if that's going to happen. What's the tiebreaker for ranking? Not sure. Sushi, you want to clue us in? Getting back into the game, however, we do have that Twilight Council going down for Patience. So he's going to be looking to get aggressive. Adept Glaive is more than likely going to be the option here. I don't know if he would necessarily want to go for Dark Templars on this map. Oh, look at that. That is very cute. Going to get the Overlord with the Hallucinated Phoenix. And yeah, there you go. It's going to be Adept Glaive. Ragnarok has taken the more open third base. Down here in the bottom. So that does mean that he's going to be able to spread that creep forward a little bit, have a much closer reinforcement point, as well as, just be able to defend a little bit easier. I think this one is just barely closer to the natural than the other one. Don't quote me on that yet, but excuse me one sec. But you know what? This has been scouted by Ragnarok. He's seen pretty much everything. Did he kill off any of those adepts? I thought he might have gotten a surround because his ling count was a little bit low. But here we go. That first big shade in. He goes straight for the natural, but those lings are in position. And Patience being very cautious right now with his unit positioning. Does not want to overextend and lose these adepts needlessly. Ravager's just trying to shoo that away. That's not a lot of Ravagers, actually. I think Patience could just turn around and crush that if he so chose. But he's still committing quite heavily to this. We did see the double Stargate go down behind it. I'm a little bit curious about that one. You know, because going Void Rays after this, no. Just definitely not. Double Phoenix. Yeah, I can see that. Phoenix Adept used to be pretty popular all the way back in the Legacy of the Void beta. And sometimes you do see some of those older builds come back into play just because they're so not expected. But hold that thought as the Adepts finally starting to find a little bit of damage to those Ravagers. Cancels or gets a ton of kills on them. The Ling's completely out of position to help deal with this, so the Adepts will find a nice location where they can engage into. Going straight into the natural now. This is the damage that Patience was looking for. He just needs a little bit more. So yeah, this is just full-on Phoenix Adept here from Patience. And it looks like Ragnarok does want to go for a bit of a counterattack with these Lings, but the wall is complete. And I don't think he's going to be able to really make his way in here. This is so cool to see again, actually. Like, I just remember this being this unbeatable, absolutely devastating build all the way back in the day. Just because the Adepts were a lot tankier back then. But even with the nerfs, they still can be a little bit of a trouble. Now, even you can see the Adepts fighting the Queens head on. There's not that much transfuse energy. A good surround by Ragnarok will force the retreat, though. Over to the third base as the Overseer. Gonna see that there's not really that much production for him. And yeah, these Queens, they're gonna be able to shoo away a lot of these Phoenix. So here we go. Ragnarok takes a big engagement, gets one of the Adepts. Starts slowly inching his way forward with the Queen's support. A lot of jumps on the Phoenix. One bile does go down. Shield battery overcharge is popped. And the Queen's fighting for their lives here in the backfield. Looks like there's actually enough Phoenix to clean up the Queens. And these Lings didn't have speed? Or did they? I don't know. Like, I lost focus there for just a second. But he does get the third base. But now he has no anti-air. So this is his last-ditch effort to make this happen. More Adepts, more Phoenix, +1 air weapons did get denied. But this is pretty much the end throw here for Ragnarok as his supply starts to plummet. Patience just going to jump on this and finish things out. He's getting that transition in the Hydralisk, but if you guys know anything about Hydralisk, they absolutely are very, very squishy to an Adept ground army. Looks like Patience gonna try and just relax a little bit. Not gonna push any sort of advantage and throw away this game needlessly. Just gonna pick off some of these reinforcements and the lone Hydralisks in the base. Maybe we can get a couple of these Overlords. That's very, very nice. Now just taking a look at the state of things. RAGNAROK is below 50 workers, and he has cut drone production completely, so every single drone he loses is that much more painful. He's trying to build up this big, scary army supply as he gets a couple of nice Phoenix connections there, pretty darn good. But still, like, you're already going to be going up against disruptors, and there's a lot of choke points on this map that patients can kind of bait you into fighting in. And yeah, these queens, like, I swear. And of course, this is going to be the big prompt for RAGNAROK. He's going to say, to heck with it, I'm going to try and kill you now. A good split, going to save a good majority of these Hydralisks, but he still gets a decent connection. Force Field's going to blanket out some of this army, and there's not really that many Biles, so that is just forcing RAGNAROK to fight in not the best locations for him. The Phoenix going to be lifting up everything that they can. And as the supply starts to plummet for now RAGNAROK, that's his army gone. Stalker's just going to be warp in. One more big warp in, I think, should be enough to finish this. And there you go. GG is called. I think Protoss legs are creepy. Yeah, I mean, have you seen these things? Their knees are all the way up here like a penguin. And I would be totally terrified if I saw one of those coming at me. I don't know why I thought of penguin instantly when I saw those legs. Psycho, we do have another big battle ready to go. So I'm going to get out of this replay, and I'm going to get the next one set up, and then we're going to get that battle started. I'd like to thank you all so much for tuning in so far. It's always been a pleasure bringing you all this awesome StarCraft 2 action. Do penguins even have knees? Guess what? As I figured out recently, they do. They are in the stupidest location. Like, imagine, okay, so their legs are tucked all the way under their robes. So like say like say this is a penguin. It's an invisible penguin. Their knees are all the way up here. And that totally wasn't just a way to plug a sponsor. #gfuel.com. I don't know why I just got so passionate about showing you guys that about penguins. I guess I'm getting I guess I am getting a little bit exhausted here, but guess what, guys? 10 seconds away from our final battle of the day. Let's see what everybody is going for. Pretty good, solid entrenchment as the Hounds of War are going. Ambulance sending the archer out front. Sushi's got plenty of these cyber warriors as well. A good tanky front to start things off. That's a big bomb there. Deep driller, level 17. Beautiful. Hey, you got these guys off here by themselves. That is perfectly okay. We don't need everybody too clumped up. And you know what? Here we go. For our last fight of the night, we see a run to the races. Everybody looking for that last little bit of glory. Booty Mage pulling ahead with double kills. 2 and 2 and 2. This is actually a pretty easy battle, it looks like, even though this is a level 4. EJF with plenty of kill and assists. And Deep Driller getting 3 kills of his own. I think this is the first time I've seen him play it tonight. Ambulance, yeah, I think you lost all your units. Oh no. And as you can kind of see, the walls finally gotten taken down. It was a hard fought victory, but we have done it, chat. We're going to see, what do we get? We got flying rogues and bombers. Let's see who gets what. I'm gonna spread the love out a little bit. If you haven't gotten something tonight, I apologize. I'm trying to give it to as many people as possible. So Finesse Kami, you will get that. And Deep Driller, I give you a call out. You had a pretty high level guy there, so I'm gonna give you the flying rogues. And let's grant those rewards. That's going to be it for Stream Raiders for tonight. But we have another game coming on in Spawning. Up here in the top right position of Jaganantha, give it up for Ragnarok. And his opponent down here in the bottom, he is Patience. So the probe's going to be dancing around. Looks like Ragnarok will be able to get his natural in for, I think, the first time tonight. Kind of just droning up here as a little bit of a slow start, obviously, in this matchup. Why do we broadcast from replays? Because we didn't want the players waiting too long, and I think a lot of them had to go for the BJ Destruction League as well. I think that's going on right now. So they wouldn't have had a chance to play. This one is a replay, but we did have 3 live matches. Nothing really too much else to say. It looks like Patience is hanging out there by the third base. Just wants that confirmation on when that goes down. And a couple more lings, a couple more queens. Just pretty much everything he needs to stay safe. Just saw Joan smash trap in the other tournament. Oh, nice. Is that a BJ Destruction League? I digress. I'm going to get back onto this one. Patience going to be throwing down that Void Ray printer here, going. And, you know, that opens up a lot of things here. We've seen Ragnarok on this map especially. He likes it when you go for Void Rays on this one because it means, hey, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to cancel your third base. I'm going to kill your third base. And I'm going to crush you with a very committed attack, because Jaganantha is such a short rush distance for such a large sized map. You can kind of see he's pulling back these overlords as well, probably expecting that Void Ray to come out. I kind of like that a little bit because it means he's going to be a little bit safer from not getting supply blocked, losing these overlords. So I've seen this transition a couple of times. I don't know if it's the best or if it's the worst. And probably somewhere just down there in the middle, but we will have Adept Glaives be coming in behind this. As the Robo facility as well. So not going to commit too heavily to the Void Rays. Kind of just a feint for right now. Dropping down those additional gates as we're going to see that War Prism pop pretty darn soon, and that's going to be the catalyst for a pretty big attack. Now, for Ragnarok, what does he have to kind of defend against that? So far, he hasn't thrown down the Roach Warren. As I say that, he throws down the Roach Warren. Okay. My big question, though, is did he see this when he came up onto the wall? He hasn't. So he doesn't know anything about this. Alright, we have a ton of gateways, so Patience is pretty much not necessarily all in with this because he still has that third base, but if this doesn't work, then he's going to have a lot of trouble macroing his way out of it. That is a lot of queens coming in, but that is a lot more adepts. I'm going to focus fire down one of those queens before jumping into the main base where there is a surround waiting for him, so even more of those adepts will go in, and he is still not on top of the mineral line, but the roaches, they're slow roaches, so they are not going to be able to jump between these bases as easily until that creep is spread. He canceled the shade out as well, looking for that snowball effect, but now I think Ragnarok does have enough to finish out this defense. Oh, that could have gone so much better for Patience. I think with how he was going for it, he might have been able to send a couple of adepts just by themselves into the third base. But for all of that and only getting 3 drones, he invested a little bit too much into it. So now we see Ragnarok doing what Ragnarok does best. He's counterattacking. And by that I mean he's got that Nidus Worm, and he's got a ton more roaches, and he's got so many queens. How many queens does he actually have? He's got about 9 right now. And he's still making more. The roaches are already across the map. The Nidus Worm is under fire by that Void Ray. If he can get out the queens before that goes down, maybe it'll be enough. But already going to be beating down the front wall. The Void Ray falls, and now this is a very siegeable position for a 50 supply army lead out of Ragnarok. So brave, so bold, going right in to the natural with that. The Immortal as well, not going to be popping for a while because that did get canceled for a long time. If he can get that pylon down as well, that's pretty much GG. As the War Prism, I think the War Prism is actually not with this army at all. Yeah, it's over there on the other side of the map, so there's no juggling with this. There is nothing to help him out over the overwhelming amount of roaches. And there you have it, guys. We are moving on to a map number 3 for like the 4th or 5th time today. I think we haven't had a single series that didn't go up to game number 3 except for the Patience versus Jotun. Incredible all in there. Actually, I'd like to think of that as a counter all in to the all in. And the all in of the all in is the less all in. I don't know what I just said, but you know what? I'm going to pretend it was something prophetic as we have spawning down here in the bottom position for the final time tonight. It has been a marathon of a day. Give it up for Alpha X's own RAGNAROK. And his opponents up here in the top, Good Game Gaming, looking to close this one out if he can. Put your hands together for patience. And there are still a couple of codes left for this event, so make sure you head on over to the Matcherino page and use that code AX300. It is a free 50 cents to the prize pool. Now, the big question is, it's late. These guys have been playing a lot, and they still have more to play because they're both doing the BJ Destruction League. So they're having to play longer and longer. So do you just kind of dial this one in and go for that big aggressive push? Or do you buy yourself a little bit of time? Do you go to a little bit of a later game? Do you maybe hope that in doing so, you tire your opponent out so they're not as fresh for their next match, which is worth a lot more money? I gotta say, that one is about 8 million won in prize pool. And 8 million won, as you guys know, is about $4,000, which is a bit more, even when with Monty adding on $200 to the prize pool of this one. There you go. We got our answer. It's going to once again either be DTs or a Depth Glaive. More than likely a Depth Glaive because that does so much work. And this map is a much shorter distance between the third. So that just opens up the possibility for more and more jumps between the bases. I know that does mean that it might be easier to defend them as well. But I mean, adepts. Once you get that snowball going, that's pretty much it. I think that was the one thing that he didn't do the best that game. He didn't get that snowball. He didn't get drone kills. He didn't get the army pickoffs that he needed. But now RAGNAROK, he hasn't seen this at all.
Time to raise your APM.
He uses Diva, by the way, if you didn't know. But now, from RAGNAROK, we do see that he's linging up quite a bit. I kind of want to see when he restarts drone production. If he restarts drone production, because we do have all of these lings going to be moving across the map. Okay, there we go. He does drone up behind this. I was worried that he might try to go all in off of lings. And as you all know, that would not be the best situation for him there. But once again, we see dropping down of that double Stargate, trying to go back into that Phoenix adept style more than likely, which did him wonders in game number 1, by the way. Just the fact that there was very little anti-air to combat that was fantastic for him. He saw this push out across the map with the adepts, and he knows that they do have glaive. You don't send this many adepts without that. And here we go. He gets the surround. The warp prism is completely fake. Oh my gosh, the mind games in this last game of the day. Gets 5 worker kills and then shades to the third base for getting on out of there. How many of the adepts has he lost so far? Currently sitting at 7 for a total of 10 workers in this game. And now all he has to do really is just buy himself a little bit of time to get that Phoenix count nice and high. RAGNAROK not fighting in the best position. I'd say he does get a surround on the warpins, but he's sacrificing so many lings to make that position work. Definitely not worth it for him. The Biles, though, going to change things in his favor. The third base instantly gets canceled. He knows he can't hold on to that. But then again, RAGNAROK can't hold on to these roaches. So as that Phoenix count rises quite exponentially, the roaches just get deader and deader as time goes on. The lair is not done yet. It hasn't even been started. 6 minutes and 34 seconds into the game. So I don't know what RAGNAROK does in this situation. He's trying to drone up. He's trying to get up to a nice, healthy economy. But he is so far behind in every single way. I think, honestly, Patience can move across the map and just kill him right now. Especially since, look how heavy he's droning up. He has just been pure making drones, and that means there's going to be no army anywhere to be seen. Half the army supply, and as the Phoenix come in, as the adepts fake their shade near the third base, the Lings trying to get the surround, but it is not going to be enough. The final queens do fall, and that is going to be it. Patience finishing out the series, which is pretty good because otherwise there would have been a